What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Cinema Wave podcast here at the Culture Wave Media Network, and we are here to discuss a film that is going to be largely in the conversation during award season. It is a movie called Sentimental Value. I'm going to be one of your hosts. My name is Darian Scalamoni. I am joined this time by Liz Seiko.
Hello.
And Zach Miller.
How's it going, man?
So I got to see this movie back at TIFF in September. This was the very first movie in my TIFF lexicon in my life. This was the first movie I got to see. I lined up very early in the morning to make sure I got in. I got there at, I believe it was 7:30 for a 9:30 showing.
Oh my God.
So I got there 2 hours at a time. I got downpoured on, and I was like, damn, I really hope this movie is worth it. I had heard really great things about it. It's directed by Joachim Trier, who previously did a movie, which unfortunately I still haven't seen, called The Worst Person in the World, which a lot of people absolutely adore. I have to watch it soon. He's a Norwegian filmmaker, and this is a movie that is in Norwegian as well as in English. It stars Renate Reinsve. It stars Stellan Skarsgard, Inga, Ibsdotter, Lilleaas, I hope I'm pronouncing that right, and Elle Fanning. And to me, this was a very special movie, and I'm really excited to have a large-scale conversation with you guys about it. I've been waiting to talk about this movie at length for 3 months now. But you guys both recently saw it. So Liz, starting with you, can you give us your broad non-spoiler thoughts on Sentimental Value?
Yeah, I love this movie. I actually have seen The Worst Person in the World, and that is like one of my favorites. It's kind of a very similar tone of a film, but I think that this is just on another. Sentimental Value is, for me, a little bit more well written, and almost like The Worst Person in the World was like a stepping stone for him in order to get to this film. I think it's stunning. It's just visually beautiful. I love the camera work that they're doing. I think it's some of the best acting of the year. I'm really excited to talk with you guys to see kind of what our thoughts are for Oscars. It's definitely going to be in the running, both for performances, and I think just as a film in itself. It's really moving as well. It didn't move me as much as I thought it was going to. Like, I thought from the trailers I was going to be crying. I'm a very easy crier in films because I love to cry in a good movie. But I feel like this film didn't necessarily pull at my heartstrings. It more really got me in like the psych thinking more of like relationships, parental relationships to children, and then sister relationships, and just dissecting more of the anatomy that goes into kind of what our parents give us and also what they don't give us in life. So I think that this movie had me more thinking rather than emotional, which is different than some of the other films this year that are like very big contenders. So yeah, those are my first thoughts. I'm really excited to keep talking about this with you guys.
Zach, what about you?
Yeah, I really liked what you said too about like you were thinking more than just the emotional like swings that this movie takes. Like I really felt like this was about defining what family memories are and how the sentimental value that comes with many meanings in this movie. It comes with the home, it comes with the familial relationship, it comes with being present in just daily life, as well as Stellan and Renate's art and stuff like that. So I think there was so many different definitions of it, and I really liked how you're trying to figure the characters out throughout the whole movie. You really don't know if Stellan is content with where he's at in life and he's happy with his decisions, or if he is trying to actually reach out to his girls and reconcile for his mistakes. And then you also don't know if the girls are actually willing to reach out and meet him halfway and try and reconnect or something. Like there's just it feels very human in that way, where relationships can get muddy like that easily, and but they try and remember the fondness of what they had together in their time in the home, and then losing that gap in the middle of important parts of their lives. How do we come together and reconnect with our father who hasn't been there for those kind of things? There's like so many deeper meanings to this movie that I feel like all kind of came out at once, like mashed potatoes for me. But I mean, it's all really deep thinking stuff, which is great.
Yeah,
But
I love with what Joachim Trier is able to do with this and making, to me, the perfect movie for Darian Scalmoni, where it's just something that is so raw and so real. All of the relationships feel real, all of the characters feel real, and I like that cinema has the ability to do that, where it just feels like you're hanging out with people, and this movie does that in the largest degree to me. This is a movie that, even though it didn't make you as emotional, it made me very emotional.
Did
I was
Aw.
crying when I saw it in the theater. And I saw it a second time leading up to this review. And there were some things that it even solidified for me. Like, I only had one issue with it seeing it the first time, and it actually really fixed it seeing it with a second viewing. So it's a movie that, to me, it actually has a lot of rewatchability too, even though it is an intergenerational drama. And it reminds me of another one of my favorite movies ever made, 20th Century Women, which is, Mike Mills is an American filmmaker, but the style that Mills has and the style that Trier has, to me, are very, very similar in dealing with relationships and having interactions between characters and dealing with the reality of these people all meshing in a group, but at the same time having individuality and individual relationships with all of them. So I'm just really excited to dive into this movie on a deeper level. But acting is kind of at the forefront for this movie. Acting and writing is what is going to drag this movie forward in the conversation for awards and in the just cultural zeitgeist in general, for a movie that, if you're just interested in cinema in general and you're like one of those people that's like, what are the movies I have to see by the end of the year? This is one of them. So if you can see it, that'd be great. If you could find it, because it is probably more limited and it is a foreign language movie, for at least some of it. But to me, it's one of those films that, like, absolutely has to be in the conversation. And the other thing is that it is secretly a love letter to cinema.
Yeah.
Like, it's a very big love letter to movies and movie making, and what that must mean for Joachim Trier and his experiences. I wish I had a chance to dive more into kind of like a commentary from him on how he approached this movie, co-writing it and then directing it, because I can't help but think so much of his own familial things that he's dealt with in his life, he had to input into this movie to make it feel so human. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and even I think the whole level of it also having to be like they're making films within a film is one aspect, but even the home that they're in, it feels so detailed and so specific, even in just the set design.
Yeah.
You know, like I feel like when in one of the opening shot, or like in the one of the beginning scenes, when they're just kind of panning through the house.
Oh, yes, the opening.
It's so lived in and
Yes.
does not feel like a set. Which just for right away, it just gets you into it, and it makes you know that, okay, this location is very meaningful. It has a lot of weight to it, both negative and positive. And for some reason, which they do talk about first thing with like the poem, is that the house is going to be kind of like a character in itself in this film, which I love.
It's at the center of the whole movie. It's the nucleus that makes it work, but it also sets the tone. Like, it's almost like that opening scene, it felt to me like I was just like sitting down and was like cozy by a fire.
Yeah.
Like, it was like kind of warming you up to understanding this is the world you're going to enter. These are the relationships that have existed. You don't have to be afraid, because we're going to put it all on the surface for you right as we start. And to me, it's just beautiful filmmaking. Zach, what did you think about the opening? And again, coming from the production design background, like the house as a statement and also as a character, how did you feel that it worked for this movie or didn't work?
Yeah, no, I liked very much how there are very few films that actually try to integrate the physical nature and at least the scale of how that can personify the relationships. I really loved how, you know, a house is often defined by its sentimental value of what you put into that with your, you know, with your memories, with your relationships. You know, it's to a lot of people, houses are just four walls and a door and some windows and stuff. But, you know, when you leave your childhood house or when you leave something else, you have that fond remembrance of what that space used to remind you of, or the bad memories, or just bittersweet memories that you carry with it. So when they start adding the reflection of like, even when Stellan leaves for the first time in the past, he like they said the walls began to crack and the house didn't like that. And the house felt more hollow or something. Like, it was visually reflected on that. And I think that's true even in like real life too, is that like when an apartment loses its owner, or when a house loses its owner, it loses its identity, you know? So it's also very much a soul searching movie. And the house goes through generations of new identity and newfound identity through the war, through the early 20s 30s, and then I mean there's even like up to where they are now, where Stellan's character was growing up, the suicide they allude to a lot. There's just like there's so much meaning behind it, but I think it is really like identity, and the girls feeling like they have a lost sense of identity because their dad left a little bit, but then they also created their own around his backstory. He was integrated into his backstory with the filmmaking and stuff like that. But then the house, like when they visit the house again as adults and they've moved on from it, there is that like rekindling of memory and cherished, but also damaged, you know? So it's like,
Yeah.
I think a house is a perfect personification of like a psyche of someone's brain in that kind of way. Like, you can deform it, you could brighten it, you could make it cozy, you can make it feel livable or welcoming, or then you can also make it feel extremely stark or contrasting. Like, so there's a lot you could do with it, and they did it really well.
Yeah, they did. They just utilize it as kind of this pathway to getting to other characters. That's kind of my favorite part of it. I love the poem in the beginning, but there's these little moments that stick out like so specifically to me, like when we get the intro to Stellan's character being reintroduced to the family at their mother's wake, and Renate's up in one of the bedrooms. I think it was her old bedroom with her nephew, and she's like, I used to listen through here to listen in on conversations. And when she does that, she realizes that her father's in the other room, who she hasn't seen forever. And it's like this, even as the viewer, you're like, am I really fucking hearing this?
Yeah.
Like, is this really what's happening? Like, is he really in the house right now? And it's just like the jump cut, like, or the smash cut to going from that to her running up to her sister and being like, Dad's here.
Yeah.
Like, Dad's here. Like, I haven't seen Dad in forever. Why is he here? What's happening? Like, why is he here? So that kind of leads into these really special moments of introduction and reintroduction. And you see it even later on with Elle Fanning's character, where you're seeing her through the glass of the house for her introduction. And it's like, now this person is kind of impeding on my living space. This person is entering my memories. And it has there's just so many things that they do so well that are so complex and so nuanced. And it's just so resonant if you have a real shared experience living in a home for a long period of time. So it connected a lot with me in that way. But I want to talk to you about, again, kind of like the characters and what they mean in this story, because they all are just so rich.
Yeah.
You know, they have so much nuance and depth to all of them.
Yeah, I think kind of branching like that with the house, I think something that's hard to do, and it comes through beautifully in this film, is bringing up history, like family, past generations of a family, without it feeling like, okay, let's quickly go through the family
biographical
tree. Yes. Or making it feel like, okay, this is the segment where we're going to quickly flip through the family photo book, or we're going to just quickly do some flashbacks. And so I think that by making this house kind of like, I guess, the family tree in like the middle of the film, it just kind of highlights the fact that really all of us, and it's in the film, and they're trying to relate it to people in real life, all of us are just living off the history of the people that came before us. And they can feel this even more because they're living in the home of the women that came before them, their parents, their grandparents, their great grandparents. And I think that it just highlights the message. And one of the themes, because there's so many themes in this film, one of the themes of just generational history, I guess, and what we get from our parents And then kind of what I said before, what we also don't get from them that we wish we would get from them. And, it's interesting because a film like this, sometimes when you see a film that is trying to cover a lot of big conversations like family dramas, I guess, and then also childhood trauma, and then also depression, and talking about how beautiful art is in life and just the artist journey. Those are huge, huge topics. And sometimes you can feel like, okay, we get it already. Like you're trying to rewrite the freaking like Odyssey or something through a film. But I didn't feel that way at all in this film. And if anything, I felt like it wasn't overwritten. And I think that's why it really worked, because they were leaving space for them to just be and not actually have to over communicate or hit the audience over the head with what they're trying to get you to walk away from each scene. Instead, they're just letting these sisters or this father and his daughters live amongst each other and figure out what the hell they're doing. And I mean, even from the moment that they run into their father for the first time at the home, I just feel like you can already feel so much tension and so much history, but we also don't need to hear, well, this is why I'm mad at you and this is why we're here today. Like instead you can just see the behavior, and that's what connects to the acting. I mean, they're doing incredible work because they have the space to breathe and just be human beings.
Yeah. I think one thing too that you said, like why it's not overdone, is because it feels like they're two different plot lines, at least for Renate and Stellan. Like they're both on their own paths in their own lives. And then the through line is that, there is going to be some form of reconnection with what they're going through, but it's just about like, okay, well, dad's making the movie, she's on stage, she's doing her own thing. And then they get a couple of scenes in the middle that like they see each other, they're talking things out. And then she keeps putting him off with the screenplay. He put sentimental things into the screenplay, so their lives do intersect through their art and through their other things. But yeah, it's all like it is big conversations on a small scale, which is why like some of the best family dramas work like that, is because it's letting like there's not even like clear closure for everything either. It's just kind of like, this is what happened. I know it deeply affected you. This is where we're at now. There's even the one question where like the sisters, when they're talking at the end, I don't know how you turned out okay. I feel like I'm a mess. Like she's like telling her like what happened there. Like, and we don't even know because we didn't see that middle part of their life or that kind of thing. We also don't know 100% why the dad left. Like we know like generally what happened, and I like how they didn't make him an irredeemable person. Like he didn't do something wickedly bad. Like this is just life. Like sometimes people have disagreements and they leave and divorces happen, but it made more sense for him to come back into it and bring his own experiences. So that being said, I feel like it wasn't juggling like overdone exposition. I didn't feel like it was patronizing you with like this cliche like bombshell thing that he was going to whip out. It was just like they lost connection. He has to patch it back together and she has to be willing to do that. And they do that in many different ways throughout of it. I like it. But,
I'm curious. When we first started this episode, you said that there was something that you didn't like on your first watch.
Yeah, it's one. So it's.
Can we talk about it?
We
now?
totally can.
I want to know.
We totally can. It has to do with the performance, but the performance has grown on me.
Okay,
and it's the same one you referenced before we started recording. So,
interesting. Okay.
Elle Fanning in this playing Rachel Kemp. Just the whole introduction to her character and what she goes through the first run through didn't work for me. Like not entirely, but like I remember coming out of the festival. And a lot of people were like, Elle Fanning is transformative. And I'm like, Inga has the better performance, in my opinion. And I still feel that way even after seeing it a second time. Not that it needs to be a tit for tat one versus the other.
Yeah.
But I just didn't feel as connected to Rachel. After seeing it a second time, and I'm glad you brought this up because this was kind of part of what I was going to kind of build off what Zach said. There is not a single relationship in this movie that doesn't tonally feel like it's authentic, which is so hard to do, where each of these four main characters, if you want to call them, between Rachel, it's Rachel is Elle
Nora.
Fanning's character, Nora is Renate's character, Gustav is Stellan, and then Agnes is Inga. You even get little character moments with all of them together in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And even the one like where like I connected better this time around when Rachel's like, we got to take a selfie with Agnes, because in the moment when I see it the first time, I'm like, I don't want the Hollywood thing. You know what I mean? Like, I just didn't want it. It wasn't what I was seeking in the movie. And this time around, I'm like, no, like, I totally understand, because she's coming at this from the perspective of being like this A-list celebrity that saw this girl who hasn't acted in decades do this one performance that she loved. And she's like, oh, like, so famous. Like, let's take a pic.
Let's take a selfie.
And it's just, it fits the character. But I learned to really love that character the second run through, especially because the two scenes that worked for me way better on this viewing than the first viewing is her scene with Gustav when
on the beach.
No, the first time she performs the monologue with no accent. The emotional moment she has. I didn't feel connected to it the first time. I felt way more connected to it the second time. And even more so, the scene with Nora worked way better for me this time when they're talking in the theater.
Wow, okay.
That scene worked way better for me. And I think it might have just taken a second viewing for me to really lock in again with the characters and kind of feel more of. And it's kind of almost like I went into it being like, all right, Elle impressed me, even though I saw the performance already.
Mm-hmm.
And then I kind of viewed it from a different lens, and I was like, oh man, no, she is actually really good in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the only thing the first time I saw it where I was just like, I don't understand the hype. I didn't think she was bad, but I was just like, comparatively to the other three actors, I just thought she kind of wasn't at that level. And after seeing it a second time, I'm like, no, she really is doing great work. Yeah. And you had said before we started recording, you're not necessarily always the biggest fan of her work. So, but you said that you felt like she really stepped it up in this movie.
This is just one of my favorite performances of hers. And usually, like, when I see her in things, she tends to be like the weaker end in performances. And maybe it's just that she's not my cup of tea, or maybe, I don't know. Sometimes she can seem very one-noted and very just like a bright personality, which for me, I just think that she opened up like another door with this role. And maybe it's that she really understood Rachel Kemp and was able to get into it, because I'm assuming, just being a famous person and being an actress, that's who she's playing in this. She was really able to step into her shoes and understand her right away, because I think a lot of what Rachel Kemp's character is supposed to show is the actress that Nora and Agnes maybe didn't become. And even later on, we see Stellan's character start to describe like the female actress who's always needing validation and is really trying to find out if they're good enough, and if they're proud, and if the director's proud enough of them. And that's really what Rachel Kemp is fighting for in this entire film. Is she wants to feel proud of herself. She wants this director to feel proud of her, and she wants the world to finally take her serious and to do some like boots on the ground work. But then she realizes, like, this isn't for me, this role, unfortunately. Like, she can do it, this just isn't her shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I loved her character arc. I'm glad they didn't make her into some villain. Like, for me, there's no real villain in this film.
There doesn't need to be, though.
There doesn't need to be, because it also just emphasizes that, like, there isn't just one solely good person. All of these characters have flaws. All of them make mistakes, and all of them probably have regrets. And that's why there isn't one person that you absolutely despise or hate. And there isn't really one person the whole time that you're like, yeah, I back them up in everything. There are scenes where you're like, they said the wrong thing there, or they should have treated that person differently. And I think it's just really beautiful how he holds the weight between each character with like accountability.
Yeah, I really liked everything you guys said about Elle, and with because DJ, honestly, I think when you're hearing things like Elle's transformative, and
that's a lot.
Yeah, you're watching like it's a high bar, like you're going in like, oh wow, she's the takeaway from this movie, really, like she's a supporting actress, like I have to fixate on her, like, so I get where you're coming from. I've done that with other people in other movies, and but yeah, I feel like with these kind of movies, these intimate, even international movies do this, I feel like they have better understanding and sentimentality and sensitivity to like some human characteristics sometimes than like where Hollywood is going and American media is or just movies are heading a little bit. Like European, like Asian, other like that part of the world, the other side of the world, honestly, has just like had a better understanding of like what it is to connect with humans in a lot of work. And I think with a filmmaker like this, you can see that like there is no antagonist, like you're saying. It's these are human experiences. I really liked seeing that Elle was in it because I'm like, oh, that's a surprising, not in a bad way, but just it's a good choice because you're in a Norwegian movie. So at first I was like, oh wow, she's involved with these actors. I've heard a lot of buzz about this. What is her role going to be in the movie? Like this guy's playing chess. He's got Stellan as the king. He's got Nora as a bishop, and then Elle is kind of just the knight that is being moved around to contribute to the story. Like all of these characters contribute their own DNA to the story, not necessarily in clash of each other. I mean, they have like their baggage that clashes, but it's not the objective. Like, yeah, he's a villain. Like he's a terrible dad for that. It's like, okay, well, I can actually understand some of his background, but yeah, he didn't say the right thing. Nora is like, we feel bad for her not having a father, but she's also pretty erratic, and her sister is kind of like figured it out. So why can't she figure it? There's like all those very like authentic, like human conversations where, it's not objectively like, oh, you did drugs bad, like you're a bad person, like that kind of thing. It's not an easy answer. And then you add in the history, like we're talking about the nucleus with the house, generational fallout, what that kind of looks like, the how his parents had trauma that was put onto him, how he's put trauma onto his daughters. Like there is so much going on that is very rich to like human history, like you were saying. So like we're all on the same page here. Like,
we got it. He just balances. Joachim Trier balances the emotions of this movie so well, and even like the comedy for me, like there's these little moments that kind of just crash in at random points, but they're so poignant and they're so funny. Like like the scene when Rachel does finally see the house and Gustav's walking her through, and he's walking her through what he wants the final shot, the winner to be, and he talks about how that's the stool that his mother used to hang herself, and Elle kind of like has a weird step back, but then to follow that up with him telling Agnes that, and she's like, the one from IKEA?
It was so good.
It's so good.
So
and
brilliant.
Zach, you're talking about it with the foreign filmmakers, and I do agree. It's like it's weird because like you can seek it out with American filmmaking. It's just not as prevalent, I don't think, and they're not as much in the conversation. Like Mike Mills is the one I brought up before. Like everything I've seen him do, I feel in that same boat. I think Sean Baker has a very run and gun style, but he connects with characters a lot more. And then like there's some like obviously like Scorsese's known to do that, but it's a lot like this movie and another one that I just reviewed, which I think you also saw, No Other Choice. Did you know what No Other Choice?
I've seen that soon.
Okay,
yeah.
Park Chan-wook. Like these are two movies that explain humanity better than any other movie I've seen.
Rental Family too.
Yeah.
And that's also a foreign filmmaker. Train Dreams is like the exception to me. But I 100% agree with what you're saying, and you get it in these great scenes where when we finally get the sit down scene in the restaurant, which I want to talk to you about that specifically, that scene, because to me the acting in that scene is so next level because it's so human, and it's also like you're giving that aspect of Gustav being like, I can't lie to you, like I don't like theater, like I love you, you're not the problem, and he wants to kind of give her this script. And he doesn't tell the real reason why he wants to give her the script in reality. Yep. He just kind of wants to give her a leg up, basically, is how he pitches it to her. But there's such a deeper meaning to that. So for you, and maybe if you can connect it in some way, like of the parallels, or like from that scene to when we get the kind of realization of what the script actually means with the sisters. Those two moments for me are like the perfect, and it's again not the very beginning and at the very end, but the perfect like rising action denouement to like smash the movie together and just being like, wow, like the levels that you're going on emotionally. You know what I mean?
So the like to get the first scene between Gustav and Nora, I think it's just so well written, and I think that when you have something well written as an actor, that just lets you fly and soar, because
it's like freedom, right?
It really is, because so essentially like the key thing for acting is you are fighting for something that you want in each scene. There's something that you need from the other person, and you are fighting every possible, like you need to get it at the end of the scene. They're just completely wanting separate things. He so badly wants her to work with him, and she so badly wants his approval. He's not going to give her the approval though until she agrees to do this film.
Yeah.
And she's not going to do this film until she gets his approval. And so they're just combating, even though they both want the same thing at the end, but they're putting blockage in front of each other every step of the way. And the thing that's so smart is that the dialogue does not lean into that. The dialogue is actually like pretty simple stuff, and if you think about it, it's almost like a little choppy in a way, because they both keep talking about different things. Like he's like, I couldn't go to the theater. Like you're not the problem in the film. The film, like the TV show that you're doing, it's just not for me. Read the script. So it's not really linear, but that's amazing, because then it gives them the like playground to just do whatever they want. I think it's going to become a scene that like young actors and people in acting school study and end up practicing for a really long time, because there is a lot of meat just to be able to work on. I also love that they don't really tell us that it's about her.
Yeah.
I love it, because we also need that as the audience, not really to know like, okay, well, why does he want her so badly to do this? Is it because he just feels bad? Like you as the audience start going through of all the reasons, like, well, why does he need her to do it? Especially when we see that like clearly Agnes was an actress too. Like, why does he not want Agnes to reinvent herself as an older actor now and come back into the world? Like, what is it about Nora that he's so adamant on? And then you get to go on this journey. And I think, and then what was the other scene that you want me to connect to?
When we do actually kind of get the revelation, when Agnes reads the script and then brings it to Nora, and they have that moment as sisters, which I think is maybe the most beautiful moment of the entire film, but just that whole interaction they have once Nora reads the script.
Yeah, I mean, I think again, it's just
you're a sister, so this is where like I know like His Three Daughters was a movie that affected you deeply, and I know this is just one scene, but like, did you feel something like in that scene, like because of the relationship they have, and even the writing in that scene to me, like what's the one line? I think it's when Agnes kind of says to her, she's like, or Nora says to her, like, how did you make it out okay?
Yeah.
And then she's like, well, I had you.
Yeah.
And like, to me, that just like, like the second time around too, I was like, oh my God. I was like, that's like brute. Like it tugs at your heartstrings so much.
It does. So I will say I saw that in the trailer, that scene, because they do have it. So like, I don't think it hit me as much because I knew it was coming. Yes. I think their relationship is just really beautiful, because they could have made them competitive. They could have made them jealous of each other. They could have made each other and like when Nora asked that question, like, how did we have the same childhood, and like you made it out okay. Yeah. There's no anger. There's no like it's
just sadness.
It's just sadness and wishing that she could have just a little bit of what Agnes has. But I think that on the flip side, we also get to see like although Agnes made it out, like she also kind of didn't, because now her older sister in a way is very similar to her father. Like she doesn't answer her calls. She's goes missing sometimes. She has to also now be taken care of in a way. And Agnes has taken on this like mother relationship for her older sister. And it's just really, really great to watch like sister relationships be so developed, and not just in jealousy, because I think when men tend to write about women, they really like to make it rooted in, well, I'm jealous of you. You have things that I don't have, and like I just resent you for it. But there's no resentment in their relationship. They hug each other, they support each other, and they love each other. And yeah, it's just beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't fall into like the typical tropes.
Zach, what did you think about the relationships with Nora and Agnes?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of dissected it really well too. So
Masterclass
like,
with Liz. Say.
What
no,
can
that
I
was
say,
really good.
guys?
Yeah, I don't really know how much more I can add without saying the same things, but I do really like similar to how you felt. I don't like movies that fall into those cliches where it feels like, okay, they have to be bitter towards one another, or yeah, they're like, Agnes could have been bitter for the success that Nora was having with theater, or Nora could have been bitter that Agnes had a relationship with her husband and she had
She has a family.
Yeah, family, like a pretty stable life, I would say. There could have been a lot of jealousy or animosity, but they both know that they're products of their environment. And I really also feel like Agnes is like the only person that Nora like truly has throughout the movie. Like she's always going to her, and she knows that she is her safe space. So I think that's another thing that hasn't been like tapped fully, or at least in a long time, is that real sense of like sibling support and that kind of stuff, or at least with sisters from what I've seen. Like it feels like there has to be some competitive thing, or it's just like a full-on supportive person, like it's either like a yes man or like a jealous sister, or like they're fighting over the guy, or they're fighting over the money or something. Like they make it cliche, but this is like very real, because it's like you could make some of their relationship into brothers and it would be the same thing. That's why I think the writing is so good. Although I wouldn't want that. I like how they're sisters. So, but I really like how they approached all of this in the movie. So I just echoing a lot of what Liz said.
Let's talk a little bit about award season, because this is a movie that has been largely in the conversation since it debuted at TIFF. It might have actually screened somewhere before TIFF, but and I was wrong before we started recording. I said, was this based on a book? It's not. It's an original screenplay. It's going to be up there, I think, for original screenplay. It's got some contenders.
I'm
but
thinking of something else when I had said I just watched something else. And
that it might have been adapted from. Okay,
yes.
Gotcha. But let's start with the acting, because there's a lot of performances here that are probably worthy. Let's start with this. I'll just simple yes or no. Okay. But I'm gonna ask. You can give an answer. Zach, you give an answer. I'll give an answer.
Love it.
Will all 4 of the performers be nominated for this movie? Liz?
No.
Okay. Zach?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay. So I'm the only one that's gonna say yes.
I think 2 supporting.
I think it's
roles?
gonna be 2 supporting actress. Because looking at the category. No, I might be wrong.
It's tough.
It will be tough. It's going to be tough because supporting actress has a lot of performances that are at the forefront. So there's, I guess we'll start with supporting actress in general. Liz and I just did the record of Wicked for Good. You think Ariana's...
She's locked in. She's getting a nom.
She's going to get a nomination, most likely. I think that Tiana Taylor is in the conversation, even though me personally, that performance has grown with me. I just don't think it has the depth that these 2 roles have.
I agree.
To me, but I do think she's going to get a nomination.
I do too.
Then you have the two ladies from Sinners, Wunmi Masaku and Haley Steinfeld. And then the big outside one, which if she isn't nominated, I believe that it'll be a very big problem, is Amy Madigan in Weapons. She just won Best Supporting Actress at the Gothams. They don't often honor horror, but she is an iconic horror character in one movie. And I think she's very deserving of a nomination. So that's just those.
Yeah.
Then there's a lot of outside performances that we don't have to go into detail, but there's the ladies of Train Dreams. I loved Zoe Deutsch in Nouvelle Vague. I just don't think
so good.
I just don't think she's gonna get a nom, unfortunately. There's Laura Dern and Jay Kelly. There's Kirsten Dunst and Roofman. Like there's so many. It's a huge field. So do you believe that one of the ladies will be nominated, Liz? And if so, who do you believe it's going to be?
You know, I'm torn. One of them will get nominated. I'm torn because Elle Fanning is kind of a Hollywood star right now. And I think Hollywood likes her. Do I think Inga is doing better work in this film? Yes, I do. I think that she I prefer her performance. But do I think sometimes the Oscars go with who has more of a shiny name to them? Yes. And so a part of me thinks it's going to go to Elle.
Okay, Zach, what do you think?
This is just supporting?
Just supporting.
We're just talking supporting actors.
Okay.
We'll get into the
between
other
the
ones,
two. You said no, you don't think all four of them are going to be nominated. So do you think both of them are going to be nominated, or if not, which one?
I think that they would nominate Elle just based off of, because they don't really necessarily look at the actual work itself. Like I think, and Elle, and these are two very good women in the movie, but I think that they would start with Elle over Ina for sure, just based off of the body of work. They also go off of body of work sometimes too. Like they have to have some catalog of movies. Like if they're not familiar with Ina's work, I mean, these are people that didn't even watch the movies last year.
That's a fair point.
Like, I don't even.
Point.
I don't know.
You do hope they did watch it. Well,
You think it's going to both?
I'm gonna hit you with a little wild card for the
Oh,
conversation.
hit us with the wild card. Neither.
I have two things up on my computer at this moment. One of them is from the Hollywood Reporter. One of them is from the Gold Derby, which is a very big odds site for the Academy Awards.
Yeah.
Both of them have the exact same 5.
Who are they?
Which is shocking.
Hit us with them.
Tiana Taylor, One Battle After Another.
Yep.
Ariana Grande, Wicked for Good. Elle Fanning, Sentimental Value. Inga Ibsdotter Lilleaas for Sentimental Value, and Amy Madigan for Weapons.
Wow.
So the only one on the list that I haven't said, that none of us have seen yet, that could play spoiler, besides the ones that we've already said, is Gwyneth Paltrow and Marty Supreme. Based on what I've heard. That's the only one that could play spoiler potentially. Because to me, the only way that they both don't get nominated is if Wunmi Musaku jumps somebody. To me. She just won Best Supporting... she won support. Who won Supporting Actress? It was either her or Amy Madigan. One of those two won. And maybe Amy Madigan won for Best Actress. Maybe they put her in a different category for that. So I think it's possible. I'm not saying it's likely, but it's happened with the men. It happened with Banshees just a couple of years ago.
That's true.
And I think that it's very similar in terms of performance. So we'll see what happens. Let's jump to Best Supporting Actor. Maybe the toughest supporting actor category in my lifetime, looking at it. There's so many that I would nominate like this year. There's so many that, like, if I had a vote, I'd be giving Dylan O'Brien a vote for Twinless, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Yeah.
Zach, I know you've mentioned time and time again, you really want Delroy Lindo for Sinners. I would love to see that happen. It's such a tough
Sean
crowd.
Penn it's like Sean Penn is like, he's number one for like everybody at the moment.
And he didn't even win at the Gothams. It was Benicio, which is
interesting.
See, also
that's a movie. Yeah, that's a movie that's more likely because to get to because it's a little bit more spread out of an ensemble and it's flashy. That's what Hollywood is fucking into.
But so same websites. we'll check, but I will say for supporting actor on Gold Derby, Stellan does make the cut. It's Sean Penn, Stellan Skarsgard, Paul Mescal for Hamnet, who's again, he's officially running supporting, Benicio for One Battle, and Jacob Elordi for Frankenstein. Then if you look at supporting actor on Hollywood Reporter, it is actually exactly the same. Now, right outside of that, there's two gentlemen for a movie we're about to record right after this with Adam Sandler and Billy Crudup, who are fantastic, and Jay Kelly. There's all the men from Sinners, Jack O'Connell, Miles Catton, Delroy Lindo, all amazing performances. So
Paul Mescal, did we talk about?
yeah, Paul Mescal, I mentioned. He's so.
So it's interesting though. Like I have a question. Like, would you right off the bat consider Stellan's performance supporting versus lead?
I think if there's one lead performer, it's Renate. Yeah, I would say that.
Yeah, but there could be a lead male and female.
I would argue.
It's the same thing as Ariana. Like she should technically be in lead because she is in majority of the movie compared to Cynthia. But I think that it's playing that game again of, well, what gives them better odds? I think Stellan has better odds in supporting role versus lead, where it's probably going to go to either Timmy or Leo.
It's a fair point.
I'll be pissed.
Because to me, he's part lead.
Yeah,
I think he's lead.
I think he's lead.
Yeah.
I understand both arguments. If Stellan is supporting, then Paul is lead, and or if Stellan's lead, then Paul should be lead. Is how.
But
I
don't think so. I don't think Paul's in as much as Stellan is. Like Stellan's in a lot of this film.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'd have to look at runtime specific stuff, but. Again, that's not the way Hollywood operates.
No, they just do whatever they're gonna. Yeah, they do think they're gonna win. I think he's definitely gonna be nominated.
He's the leader in a lot of the categories. It's between him and Sean Penn on most websites. It's between the two of them.
I don't know between the two of them either. I don't know which way I'm gonna go.
I'll say this: Stellan's never even been nominated, which is shocking to me. Because I think he's such an unbelievably talented actor. So I'm rooting for him to win. I hope he wins. And I do think he'll get nominated. And then Renate, as of right now, again, Best Actress. She is the second person on Gold Derby and on Hollywood Reporter. She is also second. So Hollywood Reporter has Jessie Buckley for Hamnet, Renate Reinsve for Sentimental Value, Chase Infinity for One Battle, Emma Stone for Begonia, and Cynthia Erivo for Wicked. And then Gold Derby has Buckley for Hamnet, Reinsve for Sentimental Value, Erivo for Wicked, Emma Stone for Begonia, and Amanda Seyfried for The Testament of Anne Lee. There's also a lot of momentum for Rose Byrne for If I Had Legs, I'd Kick You right now. So the only thing with this is that I think Renate will definitely get a nomination. I just think she has no shot of winning.
I don't think so either. I think Jessie's just doing like mountains compared to her. I think Renate also, it's a very similar role to The Worst Person in the World. She's really good at like depressed, questioning the world, like very real role. I don't know if it's very different from that performance enough to get her to like the winning spot. Yeah. I think she deserves a nom because I think she's doing an incredible job. I just think Buckley is doing the Lord's work in that film.
Zach, what do you think about Renate?
I think she's got a shot. I think it's Jessie's award to lose though. Like I do think that it's like, I think it's tighter than what you guys think.
Okay.
But it's still Jessie's up here. Renate's like right there for me. Like it's very close for me. I would say it's between the two of them.
Yes, I would agree with that.
Who was the other person you mentioned?
I know Cynthia Erivo is up there. Rose Byrne is up there. Emma Stone for Begonia. So
see, like Emma Stone is another person that could just slip in there with like Hollywood would rank her 3 out.
She's already got. She's 2 or 3.
Not that I would. Not, like out of all these performances, I was hearing a lot of mumbling that Emma Stone would win like outright, and I was like, "Whoa, slow down, guys."
Have you seen Begonia?
Yeah,
you did.
And
right?
I liked it.
Okay,
yeah,
I did too. But
out of that list, no.
Yes, so that's handling the actors, but obviously screenplay and Best Picture and Director are also big awards. Do you think it gets noms for all of them or some of them, or what do you think? I think it's definitely getting a Best Picture nom.
I think definitely a Best Picture. I think I still have too many films to still see in order to fully feel confident in the other two.
Okay. Zach?
I would say that this movie is an actor's. This is like, it takes the acting awards, or it might not get nominated for a lot of other things. I think the screenplay is very, like, I want the screenplay to get nominated. It's hard to think off the top of my head.
Yeah.
But like, you could even chop out One Battle for screenplay and put this in there. You know, like, there's conversations. Yeah. I also kind of do like when movies are balanced, where, you know, a Best Picture winner also didn't win screenplay. You know, I think it's nice when there are different movies that take that. I think Anatomy of a Fall won Best Screenplay or International Screen. Say won something.
I think it won original. Yeah.
Yeah. So that was nice. It was an international film that took that.
They just love screenplays though that have like twists.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And I don't know if this has like a big enough twist.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say that there is a twist. Yeah,
it's actually really interesting because Hollywood Reporter has 2 films for original and adapted right now that like
are
kind
locked
of
in.
Well, no, piggybacking off what Zach said, I think it's 100% accurate. Where I think that they're going to give this one particular movie original screenplay, they're going to give another movie adapted, and then another movie's going to win Best Picture. And I don't think Sentimental is going to get any of them. I do think it might get a win in terms of acting, but I think it's going to get a lot of nominations. I think it's going to get like between 7 and 8 nominations, maybe 6 to 8. And I think Joachim Trier is going to get a director nom. I just don't think he's going to win.
Yeah, it's a tough year too.
But I think that there's a lot of movies that they're going to want to honor this year. It's a really good year for movies. So having said all of that, is there anything else that we didn't get to that you guys wanted to touch on before we got to scores?
I wanted to talk about the ending, how they make this beautiful home into like the 2025 gray house. And that was the saddest part of this movie for me. I'm not even gonna lie, of like watching like them rip apart a house and then just make it like modern, boring. Yeah, I don't know. It was very moving to me, and I loved the ending. How they said so much between the two of them as father and daughter, and they never even spoke a single word.
Zach,
stunning.
Hit us with the production design background first, with the house design and what they decided to destroy all the character that was in that home.
Oh yeah, I mean, you're killing me, man. Like I was like, wow, okay, yeah, that was painful. I mean, but that was, you know, I think people who had a reaction to that, and it wasn't just like Pinterest moms being like, oh, that was nice, you know, like I like the changes they made, but it's like it is so about, you know, someone moved into the house and erased the memories and the character and the history and that kind of thing. So I mean, that stuff happens, but that's the sentimental part. It was a very nice like cherry on top that, you know, I mean, also you could even look at it in a positive way, that somebody is going to make their new set of memories if you look at it like that, in a half glass full. But a half glass empty is like, wow, they just tore out the rich side of it, and the house is really like departing from it. And then they painted it white on the outside. Absolutely criminal. I mean, anybody, Liz, don't paint your house white. Like,
it's not white.
Yeah.
It's not a white house.
But there, it's yeah, no, it's great. So really love the design. My final thought on the movie is that a great double feature with this one would be the animated movie Monster House. So that also is another movie that has the house representing the terror involved.
Yeah, no, it was they take away all the character of what that house meant, and it's the perfect bookend to what our opening of the movie was. So I love this movie. I've loved this movie for such a long time. I had a chance to see 21 screenings at TIFF. This is the first one I saw, and it stuck with me through 3 months. And I can't stop thinking about this movie. It's a movie that I genuinely feel like I might return to this movie every year. That's how much I really love and appreciate this movie. So since we're kind of just going final thoughts, did you have final thoughts before I give my score?
No, go ahead.
All right, this is a full-blown 10 for me. And this is I would put this movie over every movie I saw last year. This is a movie that genuinely like really affected me in a way that I don't even think I fully comprehended after I saw it for the first time, because I was soaking wet from standing in the rain for 2 hours. But
You're gonna say tears.
Oh my God.
But I was crying when I saw it the first time, and I still teared up the second time I saw it. And I think whenever I need a good cry, I might throw this movie on. So I deeply love this movie. I can't wait to watch Worst Person in the World, because I've heard that people adore that movie as well. But I'm just really happy that I got a chance to see this movie that I wouldn't have been kind of maybe exposed to if I didn't go to TIFF. And now I've seen it twice and I love it. So it's a 10 for me.
You're going to love Worst Person in the World, because it's the same exact film essentially, except having nothing to do with family trauma. It's all about being in your 20s and just having no idea what you're doing in life and being like the worst person in the world because you don't know what life is about.
I love it.
It's gorgeous. It's perfect. Yeah, I'm giving this film a 10 as well.
Let's go,
it's one of my favorites. I really can't wait to rewatch it. There's a few scenes that for me, I'm just like, now that I've seen the entire scope of like what each character goes through, like I want to go back and see Elle Fanning when she first has that beach scene conversation now. And like now knowing where her character goes, I want to just re-watch it and nitpick and kind of like pick things up that I didn't pick up in the beginning now that I know what the full scope is. So yeah, love it. Recommend it a ton.
Zach?
Yeah. Dude, I mean, this is a movie that I am going to be thinking about, and I have been thinking about for a long time after seeing it. I mean, it has so much richness to it that we've talked about all of it at length, but it's really worth revisiting a lot of family dramas once you kind of know the explosive argument is coming, or there's a monologue like you've seen a million times. Sometimes it can be a little, you're not going to rewatch it as much, but this movie, because of its layers and because of the visual aspects that contribute to the story, the subtext, the dialogue, the undisclosed built up emotion between the two of them, like you can feel this emotion was captured. That's what makes it so like rewatchable and refined. I like it, like Liz was saying too. This is just something that I could totally see in acting classes and pulled from, and just little breadcrumbs of how somebody feels in their emotional state. Like there's just so much you can take away from this movie. So for that reason, I'm gonna give it a 10 too.
Yes, I wish we had confetti in here.
Perfect score.
Perfect scores all around.
Scores.
I don't feel like we haven't had that all year. That's very exciting. Liz, I feel like you've had a good amount of 10s this year. I'm very excited to see your end of the year list.
What else have I given 10s
I think you have 3 off the top of my head. No, wait, what did you give Wicked for Good?
No, I gave that
a 9.
An 8.5.
8.5. Okay, so maybe it's just 2. It might just be this and Hamnet, I think.
And Materialist.
Oh, Materialist.
I love Materialist, and I'll fight anybody on that conversation.
You love Materialist.
I love it. I stand by it.
You do love Materialist. But we hope you guys enjoyed our conversation on Sentimental Value. If you haven't had a chance to see this movie, please seek it out. Find it wherever you can. It's one of the best movies of the year. We all really thoroughly enjoyed it, and if you need a good cry or you want to laugh, this movie has it all for you. So please check it out. Leave a comment if you guys had a chance to check it out at TIFF or at any other festivals this year. Let us know your thoughts. We'd love to have a conversation in the comment section with you guys and talk about what this movie meant to you. Give this video a like if you guys can, and subscribe to us here at Culture Wave Media Network. We are covering all the movies at the end of the year, all of the big things towards award season. We're pretty much, I feel like we've covered all the big ones. The only ones we're going to be sitting on for a little bit until we can go see them is Marty Supreme. And what else is coming out? I mean, Avatar Way of Water I'm going to be doing with Mark. But a lot of the bigger movies we've already kind of covered on here. So hopefully you guys tune into all that stuff. And we're going to start getting more notice on Golden Globes and Academy Awards. So stay tuned for all of that stuff. And you guys can follow us on social media if you don't already. All that stuff is below me in the video. And it's also in our YouTube description. So just signing off. I'm Darian Scallamoni.
I'm Liz Seiko.
I'm Zach Miller.
And we'll see you guys next time.
This is The Culture.